Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Shantia here. If you guys are new to my channel, this channel is dedicated to helping This channel is dedicated to helping women merge the material and spiritual so that they can live in a way that feels the most natural to them. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a review from one of my guilty pleasures, Married at First Sight. I'm going to be going over each of the couples and their dynamic. What I love about this show is even though the couples have not been together for very long, you can learn so much from relationship dynamics. I would highly encourage people to check it out because it teaches you so much on how to resolve problems, how to resolve issues. Because how successful a marriage is or a relationship is depends on how you fight, how you overcome conflict. So let's go ahead and start with my first couple, Jacob and Haley. So Jacob and Haley just don't like each other. They don't like each other. They're just, It's just the energy is just not vibing at all. I believe the infamous bracelet situation came up this week. Jacob was just trying to reiterate to Haley just how much she has not cared about him, cared about his feelings, or cared to like really put forth in like some genuine effort into the relationship. Like he's just picking up on that and he's calling her out, just like he has sort of in previous episodes. And Haley is just kind of non-confrontational. On top of that, she's stubborn. So it's just rubbing her all the wrong ways. Like Jacob is just rubbing her all the wrong way. I feel like when she says that she's doing a lot of work, it's mental for her. Because I think mentally, it feels like she's putting in a lot. This whole relationship dynamic just feels like a straight up burden to her. So I think when she says that she's doing a lot of work, it means that she's putting in a lot of mental energy into the relationship. Because do you see how she gets so like, like I can feel that energy through the TV. And then she starts to cry because she's internally very frustrated. But at the same time, we all want Haley to acknowledge, girl, you need to acknowledge that you have done him wrong in some ways. Let go of the stubbornness, because the stubbornness in a relationship, you need to let your walls down. You need to stop being so stubborn. You need to acknowledge and take accountability when you're wrong. And I feel like Haley isn't really taking full accountability. And I think it's because how to? I think her family has kind of just told her, oh, Haley, yeah, you're right. You know, give Haley her space. Right? We all saw that conversation she had with her mother. That scene just felt so uncomfortable. Haley kind of looked like a villain in that episode. I think Haley's sweet. I think it's too soon for her to be getting into any kind of relationship. She obviously has some issues in terms of stubbornness and really seeing herself and being able to take full accountability. If she's able to do that, then she could be successful. I think to the surface too much. You know, judging Jacob for his pants and then saying he doesn't have a sense of humor. It doesn't really make any sense because Jacob says things all the time and it just has me cracking up all the time. I think she's just really judging him hardcore. Again, because Jacob has brought up these things and she's not confrontational, she doesn't want to deal with this conflict. It feels like too much work, too much of a burden to her. It's just turning her off more and more. Like she has no sympathy for him anymore. Because she's just like, the fact that I'm just here dealing with you, Jacob, is enough for me. And that's how Haley feels. Hopefully, if she really works on herself, like gets some therapy or something, she'll really start to see like what are her issues. Jacob called her out. He said, you're not ready for this. She isn't ready for this. And the fact that she thinks she is doesn't make, like, you know, the basic stuff, like communicating, trying to create some genuine connection and all that stuff. Jacob has his part to play in this as well. I need Jacob to like romance a little bit here, like just do a little bit more. I think he's not really putting forth that effort because he's seeing Haley not putting forth her effort, and he's picking up intuitively on the fact that she's turned off by him. Because of his maturity and his ability to be realistic, he's kind of willing to just see it through a little bit more and just kind of see, he's like, okay, are you willing to work on this? I think he's genuinely willing to work on it, but Haley's not giving the feminine energy in the relationship at all. She's not really giving any give. You know, she's just very stiff and stubborn. That kind of energy puts guys off. It kind of pushes them away. You know, Jacob's saying, I don't know how to approach her. He energetically, dude, I understand what you're saying. Because women, we have to give the go. We got to give the go. We got to give the eye contact. We got to give the go. We got to give the smile. We got to give something to let him signal to him that it's okay for him to come over into your space and holler at you. And Haley ain't giving that because Haley don't want it. Haley is checked out. Jacob, I think, is pretty much checked out. I think Jacob also has issues like with rejection. He's been in relationships where he's been the one that women have cheated with. So he doesn't feel like he's been picked. Like really picked and really chosen, because, you know, right, good enough to date but not good enough to settle with. And that's probably, Jacob is a really sweet guy. I think he just needs to find himself a relationship coach or a romance coach who can kind of help him to show him how to romance ladies and kind of really get them to like look at him twice, because he has some really great characteristics and traits. Like when you get to really know him, oh, you know, this guy's really cool, like really sweet. But Jacob, I need you to like, you know, build that confidence and be like, I can attract a woman, I can attract my woman, I can find my ideal 80s woman out there for me who's gonna live in my 80s house with my pool and my dogs. Jacob needs a very specific woman, but I think again he has to build that confidence. And Haley is not your last resort. I need you to feel a little bit more confident. It's not your last resort. Some people find love a lot later in life, but sometimes it's worth the wait, you know? So until then, Jacob, I think you should just enjoy being you in your 80s house doing you, but definitely find yourself a romance and relationship coach to kind of help you to like romance the ladies a little bit more, because you need to up your game. I haven't seen him romance Haley, not one bit. Haley saying that he's not funny and all that stuff. No, he is funny. He is funny. He has like really cute qualities about him. He's the type of person, when you get to know over a period of time, you really start to like him. I'm surprised his friends, I don't know, maybe they have introduced him to a lady who would seem like she would be into him. I think that would be great for him as well. They're not the right fit. They're just not a match, and they both are just kind of turned off. And then Haley, in one of the scenes, it came up that she was kind of being like a sore loser when they were doing the tea golf. Yeah, weird. Haley gets she lights up when she gets very competitive, which is very interesting. So I don't know, I'm wondering what that's about. Vincent and Bree have a really nice organic chemistry that's really working for them. I think Vincent and Bree are doing the work to get to know each other. I think realistically where they're at, it makes sense for their dynamic. I mean, they did say I love you, but I think they mean that they have love for one another. I feel like Vincent is kind of stuck in sort of this dreamer reality of their relationship. I don't think he's actually seeing Bree for who she is. He's kind of romanticizing the relationship. I hear him say family all the time. I just don't really see him like fully connected into seeing who Bree is. And that's probably one of the reasons why when she brings up blood pressure, he doesn't really have as much compassion as he could have in that situation. Like Vincent, that would have been a great opportunity for you to reach out and be like, Bree, I got you. You know, to reassure her that I got you. But I have a feeling that Bree has been a very strong, independent woman who, again, she told us in a previous relationship, the guy he wasn't doing his part in the relationship. So she's sort of used to men sort of ignoring her or kind of maybe not treating her the best. So here comes Vincent, you know, showering her with all of this romanticism. He seems like a really great guy, but at the same time, I just want her to watch for that a little bit. You know, when Vincent is kind of detached, he can do a little bit more work to come over to her side emotionally and create that emotional intimacy between the two of them. What I do like about Bree is I do like her assertiveness. I have respect for the way that she is assertive, because she's assertive in a way that is like respectful and kind. She doesn't raise her voice or anything. She just says, well, this is how I think things should be. With that said, she does need a compromise. Maybe seeing a couples therapist, because Bree has done some therapy, but seeing a couple therapists might help them to see that a little bit more, how they can resolve that, how they can be on the same page about certain things. Because if Bree keeps holding Vincent to these standards, and Vincent, who, you know, is already struggling with communication, doesn't communicate this and isn't as assertive. I liked how straightforward he was about the finances and saying, oh, but that's not a compromise, I really love the way he vocalized that. But does Bree really get it? And does Vincent really see Bree? That's the two things I think the both of them need to work on with each other. But for the most part, they're doing really good. They're doing really awesome on this show. I think as far as guys go, I kind of wish the standards were a little bit higher this year. As far as all the men go, I feel like Vincent is the most genuine and the most willing to do the work. He just needs to communicate, watch for that frustration energy that I get from him sometimes. Just kind of watch for that. And then also really connect with Bree and see Bree. But, you know, realistically, them knowing each other for only a month, they still have time to know one another, get to know one another and connect. And they'll be fine. So moving on to Ryan and Clara. So Ryan, I think, is a politician. He knows how to present very well. He's a very nice guy. Clara, Clara is Clara. So I think the two of them are kind of bringing back into this relationship the issues Like I guess they didn't really see how to resolve their issues. They saw their issues or saw that they struggled in some things. The way that Ryan spoke about himself in the letter, it sounds like he sees himself as this just perfect guy, right? Who just gives 10 out of 10 relationships, but never said I love you? What? Like, how long does it take you, especially in a relationship? You're just feeling all of these good feelings. Of course you're gonna tell the person I love you after a year or so, but he hasn't done that. That's so interesting. Ryan is a politician. Ryan is living in Ryan's world. I don't know. I need Ryan to get a reality check to see, Ryan, you have things you need to work on. These are issues. You know, there's more going on under the surface and you don't even know what they are because you're not acknowledging them. You just keep sweeping them under the rug and telling yourself. Him and Clara are just reading and they're speaking, they're vocalizing, and they're showcasing and broadcasting this script of this perfect, deeply connected, raw, emotional relationship that no one is seeing. Like, we're not seeing any of that. I'm not feeling it. I'm not seeing it. I don't believe it for a second that that's what they actually have. I think that's what they believe they want to have. So what Clara brought back into this relationship is the covering. She was in a relationship where they had sex 3 times a year. She was in a relationship where she put up with that, essentially. So Clara is used to having to put up with a lot and just take on the emotional burdens of the relationship. And I wonder if she's the one who waits to be left. I feel like maybe Ryan, he's the one who's left in his relationships, but he's like, oh, well, okay, it's fine with me. I'll just find someone else. And someone said it in another video. They said that this is probably one of the best relationships that Clara has been in. And that may be why she's willing to cover for Ryan, because she wants it to work so much. Ryan feels really robotic. We have not seen him really be emotionally available or vulnerable. I'm not understanding the raw emotional connection. I'm like, whoa, 10 out of 10 raw emotional connection? What am I missing? That's the thing, it's missing. It's missing. You guys are presenting it with words. Both of them are probably very good with words and know how to use words, and probably even know how to use the words to convince themselves that they're living this reality that they're not actually living. But we're not seeing it, we're not feeling it. I'm calling BS. They probably don't know it, but we're calling BS. Clara has to let Ryan do some work. Like, girl, let him do some work. He needs to earn your love. He needs to earn you. Let him earn you. Pull back, let him earn you. Because Ryan is just like, well, I'm perfect. You know, I get away with just doing the bare minimum and that's all that needs to be done. No, he needs to do more work, because the fact that Clara kept speaking up for him and he's just, I don't know, has these perfectly rehearsed or just perfect quotable affirmation moments, to me, it speaks volumes. You say a lot of these great words, but Ryan, we're not feeling anything. We're not feeling it. We're not feeling it. Hopefully the two of them can get a reality check and start to see, oh, we do actually have issues. But the way that they've been like hiding under this veil, or just presenting themselves and broadcasting and convincing themselves that the broadcast that they are presenting is the real thing, we may never see that. So it just goes to show. But, you know, Ryan, Clara, I hope the best for them. Unfortunately, they're not actually, it doesn't really feel like they're resolving anything. It doesn't really feel like any movement or growth is happening. It just feels like they're kind of experiencing and brought the same things that they struggled with in their previous relationship into their current relationship. So I hope the best for them. So with Paige and Chris, I mean, you know, we all know. Chris he's redeemable. He's redeemable. I'm sure at some point Chris is redeemable. He needs lots and lots and lots of therapy, lots of self-awareness. No one has called him out. I have not seen a person call him out to his face. The minute someone starts to, even the previous episodes, he just gets all, okay, well, I don't want to talk about it anymore. You know, very, you know, childish. So, Chris lives in Chris' world, and he's happy to do that. He's happy to get what he wants. I would love to Pastor Cal to have called him out a little bit more on being late and all those things, but who knows, you know. Dr. Pepper, you know, she was a real MVP of this episode. She was very straight up with everyone, but also I want people to pay attention to the fact that she is only on this show. Maybe she's producing behind the other shows, but she's only on this show. I'm getting very genuine energy from Dr. Pepper. Very like realness from her. So that's what she gives. That's what she's able to give. in the show. She's been the longest. She's been there since episode 1. I've been there since episode 1. She's been there since episode 1. She's always been, you know, the way she is. She's just such a lovely woman. But yeah, she did call him out. She told Paige, we've all said this, Paige, where are your boundaries, girl? Bring your boundaries back in. Paige wanting closure from Chris. It's like, why would you need closure from him? He is who he is. He presents as he is. He ain't hiding it. But it's up to Paige. I think what's gonna really wake her up maybe is possibly seeing how people react to her choosing Chris time and time again on the internet, in the reviews, watching herself back. Like, maybe that's what's going to create the change for her, because she needs that. She's the type of person who needs an ice bath and to be shook a few times. She's having a hard time waking up from her situation. So hope the best for Paige. We're all like sending her love and good vibes because we want her to do better. Like, we understand what it's like to struggle, to settle. We've all been there at some point where we haven't spoken up for ourselves. So, you know, Paige, we wish you the best. So next couple is Virginia and Eric. So Virginia and Eric, that's another couple who brought in their past baggage into their current relationship. Virginia thinks it's okay to get drunk, to act like a college party girl in a marriage. It doesn't make any sense. I think part of it has to do with the fact that she has such an emotional tie to her friends that, you know, she bursted out into tears when Eric said that girls and guys can be friends. Like, she is it's an emotional, vulnerable place for her. Very, like, in our reality, we're like, Virginia, that's not okay. But in Virginia's reality, she's like, no, you don't understand. These people have helped me to feel good in life and loved and appreciated or something. So unfortunately, Virginia, like, we all feel like you need to raise your standards as far as what you can do for yourself. We all feel like she could raise her standards. She's the type of person she needs Eric has two options. He can either be patient with her or he can step out. An emotionally mature person would see where Virginia is offering and the compromising and as far as the drinking goes. And they would be like, I'm out. You know, the fact that Eric is getting aggressive and fighting and all that stuff about it, like, it just kind of speaks to his lack of emotional maturity for himself as well. So even though Eric has like years on her, he's emotionally immature. Bringing up that anger and that energy into confronting your spouse is a no-go. What Eric brought in to his relationship is he's dismissive. When he doesn't get what he wants, he's dismissive. He was dismissive of his 6-year relationship. He called it a contract on paper. That's what he called it. And at first I was like, oh, you know, maybe he's just like, he has really set boundaries and he's just done with this relationship. But then I'm like, the way that he's spoken, if he doesn't get what he wants, he becomes dismissive. And that's probably what turns people off. Like, there's a reason why people are single. That is probably his reason. He's probably very, very stubborn and set in his ways. But he needs to find someone who's on the same page. And Virginia is like, whew, this match did not make any sense. Like, when we all saw it, we were all over Twitter like, what? Like, what? And then they're like, oh, but we have chemistry and physical attraction. I have a feeling it's because they both know how to create that in relationships. They both know how to create the chemistry and the physical attraction in relationships. Virginia's like, you know, drinking, like, she's just fun to be around. Eric's just like easygoing guy. And Eric is so interesting because he can be very submissive, right? He's good at taking orders. When Dr. Pepper told him, no, don't do this. When Virginia's dad talked to him, Eric is good at saying, yes, sir. He's good at taking orders. But when it comes to him personally, he hasn't fully delved into understanding himself. Virginia has presented more emotional maturity, emotional intelligence than Eric. That says a lot because she's younger, significantly like younger. There's a nice age gap and she has issues with the drinking. So from what we've heard, Virginia had to grow up too soon, and that's probably why she's resorted to alcohol and escaping her life. But again, an emotionally mature person would look at someone like that and they'd be like, especially first time, like married at first sight, and they'd be like, this is too much to handle. But Eric is so set on wanting to control and wanting to have a relationship and have it be a certain way and control it, as opposed to seeing Virginia as a person and being like, whoa, she needs therapy, help, and patience. They're just both not matching each other on that level. And Virginia, I think she's being rebellious when she says certain things. Yes, she lacks the emotional maturity. Virginia is very emotionally aware. She knows why she signed up for this. She knows a lot of her issues. I think a lot of people who resort to alcohol are very aware. That's why they drink so much, because it hurts them to see the reality of life. So they would rather drink than deal with it, because they don't know how to. They don't know how to. But Eric gaslighting Virginia all the time, it's cause for concern. Like, he's already painting her a certain way, and Virginia is picking up on it. So Eric is not really ready to be in a relationship either. He wants to be in one. I think he wants control, and he wants things to be a certain way. It's a poor match. It's a struggle match. Both of them need therapy. They need someone to kind of reflect back to them, like, you need to work on this, you need to work on this. Is there anything else I wanted to say about Eric? The 0 to 100 thing is not, it's not okay. Like, it seems like he has two personalities. He has easygoing Eric, who's just like, you know, goes along to get along. That's probably his survival mechanism that kicks in. Like, when he needs to survive, he does that. But if he can take advantage, he'll take advantage. And that's what you have to watch for. That energy, to me, the fact that he was, you know, yelling and cursing out Virginia behind cameras is a cause for concern, because that's the real Eric showing up. The easygoing Eric who knows how to take orders, that's the surface Eric. That's what he presents. But then behind the scenes, no self-control, no emotional control. How he feels like things should be is how they should be. But Virginia and Eric are just kind of like they're wound mates. They're triggering one another. For that reason, they shouldn't stay together. They shouldn't, because they both need so much work to do separately by themselves before they can get in a relationship. But if they do choose to continue to stay in a relationship, and a lot of people who have like sort of dysfunctional dynamics and volatile dynamics like this, but still have like the attraction and the chemistry, do stay together. But if they're willing to do the work, then they can get to a place where they can resolve some of their issues. Anyways, I think that's every couple. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's my review on Married at First Sight. I'm obsessed with this show, so I'll probably continue to do reviews from now on. If you guys are interested in more content from me, then go ahead and like, subscribe, or comment. I'll go ahead and link down below my Instagram and my website. I do art and coaching. I'm a content creator as well. If you guys have a wonderful day or evening, thanks.